Okay, hello everyone. Welcome once again. Welcome to Life Clinic Podcast interview series. I am really excited to have every one of us here. I hope you're excited to see me again. This is the second edition this year, right? And I really trust God that God would help us so that we'll be able to learn so much from our guest tonight. And the series we are looking at this month is your growth blueprints for 2024 because we believe it is important, it is expedient of every one of us to have our goal set for this year. And I believe we all are goals getters. We should not only be goal setters alone, we are all goals achievers. And it's important that we achieve our goals. Or, firstly, should I say that it's important we set goals and it's also important we achieve our goals. And that's why we are inviting experts to this interview series so that they can take us through their journey, right? So that they can take us through their journey and explain how things have worked out for them. And I'm really excited about our guest this evening. I mean, she's a coach. I call her coach. She's a coach. It's not because I call her coach. That's why she's a coach. She's actually a coach. She's a content strategist and content marketer. And just like I used to do, I have my introduction prepared already. And okay, don't let me make any comments yet. Let me hear comments from my guest before I apologize. Right. Yeah, so I'm going to bring in so that you know my guest is, then I will bring her on stage. Okay, so let me do that briefly.
We're thrilled to have
Okay, I
with us
think it's
today
up
Coach
now.
Favour Chidinma, a dynamic content marketer and strategist. Favour is dedicated to helping professionals and business owners carve out their brand identities and enhance visibility. Beyond her role in marketing, she serves as the Chief Operating Officer of the Young and Powerful Leadership Network, YAPLIN, a global platform empowering young individuals to cultivate leadership skills, connect with like-minded peers, and expand their international networks. Notably, Favour led the charge as the team lead for the successful Young and Powerful Summit, YAP Summit, a groundbreaking event that drew participants from over 10 countries. This summit laid the foundation for the launch of YAPLIN, further solidifying Favour's commitment to fostering leadership development on a global scale. Her exceptional contributions were recognized with the prestigious YAP Summit Award in 2023, a well-deserved acknowledgement of her outstanding leadership during the summit. You can connect with her on LinkedIn at Favour Chidinma. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Favour Chidinma, a true trailblazer in the realms of content marketing and youth leadership development.
Okay, Miss Favor, you're welcome to Life Training Podcast once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having
All
me
right,
here.
yeah, thank you so much. Let me quickly say this. How was my introduction? I mean, that's the first thing I always ask my guests, because most sometimes my should I say my AI always murder my guest's name. So how was the pronunciation of your name?
Yes, should I say they nearly murdered it, especially the Sunday. But it was great. Thank you so much for the warm reception. I believe that's what matters. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Miss Favor. Thank you so much. I'm really excited to have you here. And even from our previous conversation, I personally have learned so much from you, and I believe that our audience this evening will also have so much to get from you. But let's go straight into our discussion tonight. We are looking at growth blueprints for this year, and we really want to help people get along and enter this year properly because I know a lot of people have plans, and it's good to have plans. But I want to ask you, Ms. Favor, that Coach Favor, let me use Coach. All right, that what is your big dream for 2024? Or should I say, what's your big goal for 2024?
My goal for 2024, that's the question, right?
Yeah.
It's basically to expand my network. I'm very big on networking, and I believe that your network is your net worth. So if there's one thing I really want to do this year, is to be very intentional about it, both in attending events, physical events, online events, and even using DMs to do that. So one thing every professional should be very intentional about, even though you are what do they call them now? You are, a quiet type, or you feel, oh, you don't like talking too much to people, you don't know how to approach people. This is one thing you should work on, right? Because you don't know who you're going to get connected to, you don't know who you're going to do that big business deal with, you don't know who will buy into maybe your idea, or just opportunities that can just come by just meeting one person. When I was invited to a my first physical, speaking in-person speaking engagement, the first in-person speaking engagement I ever had, like in person, it was due to a recommendation by someone I met before. I didn't know the people that invited me. I had no business with them, but I got invited to by this high profile person, and not just any person, a very, high profile person in the community, to speak to teenagers. And that because I was recommended by someone. So that's one thing, one of my goals, very intentional goals for this year. And of course, building my brand, you know. Thank you so much for that question.
All right. Thank you so much, Coach. And I'm really excited about, you talking about networking and connection. But let me ask a question there. And I'm also excited about this, your first speaking engagements you spoke about, because I saw the post, was it late last year on LinkedIn? I think it was the wife of the governor of Imo State, or am I really correct with that detail?
Being the person that invited me, yes, the
Mm-hmm.
former governor of I think Imo State, Honorable, Okorocha. So he's the
Oh,
one that
okay.
invited.
Wow, that's really a big platform. Congratulations to you.
Yeah, thank you. It was his wife
Okay, the wife of
that
his. Okay, Excellency. All right. That's nice. That's nice. I'm really excited about that. When I saw the post on LinkedIn, I needed to read through. Although we've had previous conversation before that, but let me ask you that now you talked about networking and connection. How is there like a step-by-step guide to help people network, and especially for people that are interested in building their business, or they are interested in becoming a better person? How can they network with the right persons?
Well, you know your goals, right? You are the one that knows your goals for your business. Especially, okay, for example, a graphic designer that wants to improve and have expand in his network. He can connect with, not, people always say network with people, high profile people that have built their brand to the optimum, or connect with them. But yeah, it's good to connect with people like that, right? But it's also good to connect with people in your circle that are almost like maybe in the same level as you, because you all can collaborate to do something big. You can build a community of graphic designers, and where you just inspire each other with different designs in that community, in that place. Maybe just create a as simple as a WhatsApp group, and you all are just sending designs, maybe just correcting each other. When someone posts, is this thing good enough, or what correction can we make, and you correct it, things like that. That you can also build a community like that. You can reach out to the graphic designers in your circle and build a community with them. And also another way of networking, there's also attending events. You can get people, connect with great minds in at events, because for them to be there, it means that they are willing to learn. There are people that have this growth mindset, they want to improve on themselves. It's about those that you want to connect with and put in your circle, because those are the people that will inspire you and fuel you to even be better. And opportunities comes from people like that. When people are very intentional about their growth, so that your opportunities can come from those people, because they already have a growth mindset, than people that just wants to draw you back. Those are the You shouldn't keep such persons. So that's leveraging events. Events have helped me a lot. And then building your community around maybe your skill. And I mean, someone else can even reach out to you by also building a community with your social media platform. That's a community, because you're inspiring them with your content and everything. And these are people that relate with your content, so they can reach out to you when they see an opportunity that fit into what you are doing. When you are built in an extent that people know, when they hear the name of this thing, they remember you for it. When you build around that. So that is another way of building relationship. You must not build one-on-one. You can also communicate with the people in your circle, your friends on social media and all of that. So that is it. That's the key point.
Wow, thank you so much for that. And I really think that's important, especially in these days of social media, and everybody's online. And I think it's important that everybody should make use of the social media platform, all right, whether Facebook, and maybe most especially LinkedIn, or maybe depending on the kind of profession or the kind of career that person is, will determine the kind of social media platform we will use.
Also, connection can be that you need a help or guide in something, and you know someone that has that thing. Be humble enough to reach out to this person to teach you or to guide you on it. And if it needs you to pay to have access to that person, or an act of service, go ahead and do it. There's nothing wrong in
Hmm.
meeting someone who cannot handle something. That's another way to build um connection, the right, or entering into the circle of certain people that you just need to do certain things to access them. Okay, because you know what that can bring out of it, and you know what you want to gain from it. So that is it.
True, true, true. And I thank you for also bringing that out, because a lot of people, should I say, maybe in this part of the world, that we really do not, should I say, we really do not, maybe I should, that we really do not appreciate value, right? And especially in the point of you paying for a service. I often talk to young ones. I say, okay, you do this particular thing, but the complaint you have is that most of your friends will not pay for it. All right, you are offering a service, and most of the people you are offering that service to are not, paying. And maybe we should really talk about. I know we are a little bit deviating from maybe our focus for today, but I believe that all of our discussion tonight is going to bring out a strong blueprint for people to really work with for the year 2024. So I don't want to talk about, because I've had several cases about of young people that they have a service, but they find it difficult to, to monetize it. And maybe for them, and maybe they are actually listening to this, and maybe for them, they are looking at this year, their big goal for this year is my ability to be able to monetize this skill. I don't know if you have any idea, or maybe you could run through, because I guess many of us, we actually started from running free services. And as a result of that, we improved on it until we began to, get paid for our services. So I don't know, maybe you have one or two ideas that you can use to help, these individuals.
Like I said before, if you want to see results for whatever you're doing, you have to pay for. You have to dedicate yourself to self-development. And one of the should I say mistakes now that newbies do, although sometimes you know sometimes should I say it helps, but majority of the time, it does not really help. And that is like trying to teach someone on a skill you are not really, trying to create a course for people to pay you for a skill you have not really, you're not really good at. You just paid for a graphic design class. I don't know, I'm using graphics. And the moment you just learn it, you want to start teaching people. You create a class and you want people to be paying you to teach that thing skill, and you yourself, you are still learning. You have seen your designs maybe even when you, maybe years or months to come, when you have improved on your skill, you look back at that design and you laugh at it and laugh at the fact that people paid you to learn that type of design. So it's like that, and that's the mistake like people make. That's one thing that really drew me back in, my process of, learning. Although all of those curves has helped to enhance me one way or the other. So one thing that I really do not advise newbies to do is to try to teach on something they have no results in. Don't try to teach on something you have no result in. Master your skill, pay for courses and improve on it. Then before you now want to monetize. In the part of freelance, that's doing your work, doing the work for others to get paid. There is a level of like, you have to have results. What are those free work you've done? Have you worked for anyone for free, or have you even given yourself a project to work on, to build a portfolio for yourself that you use to show your clients? Have you done that, or do you just want to collect money from a client, and you feel the clients will trust you enough to give you, when you have no level of result? They'll not see you actively doing something to prove that, okay, they can see your work. Then they'll feel more relaxed and at peace to give you something to do, right? So that type of thing, you have to give yourself projects for, if you're going to be working for someone, and if you're going to teach people, you have to have a level of experience to also come and teach people. So that is one. Just focus on, the main focus now is on growth. It's not really on the monetization, because it's a means to an end, right? The money is not really the whole end of everything, because money money is our slave, and it's meant to be our slave. So we're supposed to send that money on an errand, right, to get more results. While we focus on other things, the aim is to really focus on other important things while our money gets to work for us. So money is not the end. So that about that monetization part, your growth will really attract the kind of results you want. There's no way you'll be growing and you will not just get the results. The results, even though you don't see it now, it's as close as possible than you ever know, because of that level of growth, right? So focus on the journey, focus on the growth, because that is where, you see the results you really want to get. Like the Pareto principle, 20% of our effort gives 80% of results. So focus on that 20%. What is that 20% you need to focus on to be able to have the 80% of result that you really want? So that's discipline
Thank you.
and that's commitment.
Thank you so much for that. I mean, I caught one thing that you said there, and I think it's very, very important that I emphasize it, that it's important we focus on our growth. All right, focus on the journey. And I think for every individual and for every business or for every professional, it's important that we enjoy the journey. All right, the ups and downs, the experiences garnered, and I think it contributes to the end results. Right. So I want to ask you now. You are a professional in your field. I want to ask that that what are those things that or should I say that how do you identify your true value? All right, you are a content marketer, you talk about leadership and many other things. So but what are, because I guess that it's not all offer that comes on your table and you just say, okay, yeah, everything goes. So, but I want to ask you, what are those, or how do you identify your true value as an individual and as a business person?
Well, you already have a skill, right? So you already know what you want to do. There are some offers you shouldn't take, and that's offers that you know that is not in line with what you are, you know that you cannot handle this thing yet. And it's not about, I'm not talking about a part where you are scared to take an offer because you are just scared of, oh, what if I fail? What, that's not the type. Because there are sometimes there can be this thought that comes to you and you are scared that, what if I cannot handle this? We what do they call that? We have those type of, you know, thoughts once in a while where we just underestimate ourselves. I'm not talking about that type of scenario, but this part, maybe a content writer wants to take a job of a graphic designer, and you know you have no business with graphic design, okay? That type of offer, or some complicated offers like that. So another thing is um when you want to, how you know the type of clients to get. First of all, build yourself to premium. There are some kinds of, you know, when you are talking to, when you are building your brand, build it in a way that it attracts premium people. Then you can have packages for other persons too. That doesn't mean you don't have packages for other persons to be able to access what you are offering, but you should build a premium brand in the sense that there are certain amounts you'll be able to charge to this particular, for these particular clients that come your way. So you know who you are targeting at that point. So you can have offers for other people while you can build your brand on premium. Do you understand what, like premium brand?
Yeah.
To be able to add some
Mm-hmm.
kind of offer, no, you kind of, should I say, deserve, or, you know, based on the value you are offering. Okay, so, and have other packages for other people to have access to. I don't know if that makes sense, but you know, that's the type of, you know, thing that would help you as you move.
All right. Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. And I think it's very, very important that we all learn that. I have a comment here that says, yeah, you said dedication to self development. Yeah, it's important that we build ourselves, we develop ourselves, and at the end, we'll get a very wonderful result. Now, let me ask a personal question. I have a personal question here, maybe not too really personal, but he said, tell us about a time you set a powerful goal and you achieved it. What made it successful? You want to learn how you were able to start something, you set a goal and you were able to achieve it. What made that goal successful? Maybe you
Hmm.
can run us through a story.
Okay, one powerful goal, one of the, you know, I say, one of the wonderful goals I set. Okay, 2023, I remember we were planning a summit. You know, YAP summit. I don't know if you've heard that, or those that follow me might have heard something like that. So one of the things that made the YAP summit successful and bringing in people from different continents to attend just is teamwork, knowing that you cannot do it alone. And this works too when maybe you are offering a skill and um you want to help a client that with something that is not related with your skill. Teamwork can help you achieve that. Maybe someone wants to help you, some you are doing content creation and they also need a graphic design work, and your one of your packages is that you help them to get a good design for their job. So that's one thing that can help you. Teamwork helps. And the YAP Summit, we needed graphic design work, we needed content creators, we needed social media managers, we
Yes.
needed a couple of skills that will just help the YAP Summit a success. And we didn't do it alone. We brought in people and we became a team to make that happen. So one of the success of this YAP Summit was that we brought in team of people, we communicated the idea so that they understand it, and we delegated tasks to those people and they knew what they were supposed to do. And we also set a deadline that this is the date we have to meet up to the date of this particular summit. And when we created a flyer and it was out all over the place, that was on 21st of October, I think 21st of October is having a deadline. What deadline have you set to achieve this particular thing? What's the deadline? Another thing that helped is accountability partner. So we were accountable to ourselves because you are not just the only one working. You know, get it, make the YAP Summit success. So the accountability partners and the fact that we were we had a deadline and we worked as a team, a team. So that helped.
Wow, that's nice. Accountability partner, working as a team and having a deadline, and I think it's very very important. On Friday. I was giving a talk on how to set smart goals for 2024. And one of the things I emphasize to people there is setting deadlines. I said, maybe it's not the best example, but I remember when I was in school, and I think it happened to everyone except for maybe the exceptionally genius students, that whenever we are given an assignment and the lecturer says we have to submit the assignment tomorrow, all right, or maybe give us a week before then, and you have to submit, but the deadline for the submission is tomorrow. But because there is a deadline, and the deadline is tomorrow, even if you are not working, if you've not been working for maybe weeks before the deadline, a day to the deadline, all the energy, the wisdom, and the knowledge you need to get the work done will definitely come. And that's actually the beauty of, that's actually the beauty of setting deadlines. So I think if we set deadlines, we would be able to get more results than having,
True.
loose end goals, right? So, but I want to ask you about team. You were talking about team. How do you set, or how do you get functional teams? Because if you say, okay, you want to look at your circle of friends to get team, and that's a good idea. But one way or the other, you discover that everybody have one or two things that they want to also trash out. So how do you set up a team and see that that team, as the team leader, see that that team, produces the expected results?
Okay, thanks for that question. One thing that will help you set up a team is having, how should I say it? Being able to communicate what that thing is about and letting them understand it, because and how will they benefit from it? How are they going to benefit? Because one of the things that made our team members even active is telling them about the certificate they will get at the end of the day. And people, that means it's a win-win, right? People want to engage in volunteering works so that they will have experience, and that was an opportunity. The volunteering was actually going to help them. So if if you to be able to get teams on board, it's people that have the same mind goal as you, or how should I put it, you are get towards the same goal, and you are going to all benefit. Going to This is going to be an experience for them. They're going to volunteer, they're going to have the experience. At the end of the day, they are going to get a certificate that prompted them to also be active. Those that really were active. There were those that were, but there are those that really worked towards it because they wanted to get that certificate. And we made it in such a way that we didn't just say when you post you get certificate. If not, someone will just post once and go and sleep. So we made
Mm.
it in sense that if you post about how many times, or if you post, you know um just for example 20 times, or if you post, or something like that. So we just gave the number of times, post certain amount of time, you get your certificate, and that made people active. And that's one of those things. So it should be a win-win on both parties. If you want to build any community, if you want to do anything, there must be a win-win. It's not just one-sided. So that's just it.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Win-win. I think about 2 years ago, I read a book talking about negotiation. I've forgotten the title of the book. Yeah, you can negotiate anything. That's the title of the book. You can negotiate anything, and he was talking about this win-win kind of strategy. All right. So my next question to you, coach, is people suffer from fear and self-doubts. All right. How do one, or how can someone overcome these roadblocks? Because I believe as long as you want to start something new, you want to start something you've not done before, there will be this kind of fear. In fact, there might be this kind of self-doubt, that can I really do it? Do I have the enough resources to be able to achieve this? So how do you, or how can someone overcome these roadblock blocks and stay inspired and motivated?
Okay, thank you very much. I think it's normal for everyone to for many people to be afraid when they want to do something that go to the next level in their career or in one thing or the other that they are engaged in. It's normal to be afraid to just do something, that is new. Yes, thanks for that word, new, something new. People are not really, not everyone that knows how to like engage in something new. Like just, some people can be very spontaneous, but there are some people that will over calculate. They will just really calculate everything, calculate to the point that it becomes even more scary to even act. so
True, true. That's
so
true.
it's um and it's not, doesn't make you any less, right? Because we all go through that phase, but it's when you decide to allow it hold you down, that shouldn't come to, that shouldn't be the way you when you do it afraid, you begin to kill that fear. But if you don't act at all, the fear will intensify, and it works like it will intensify. But when you act, do it afraid, when you get the results, you'll be like, phew, like this type of a relief. You have this relief that you actually did it. And one way to overcome fear, and one way I overcome fear is by speaking to God and telling it to Him, because I believe that his word is the one that guides and direct, and is for counsel, it's for direction and all of that. And so I speak to God, and he speaks to me too through his word. And there are times he can just allow me hear something or read something or just listen to something that will just give me that answer, or there might just be this peace that I just really need to just act, or this level of faith that will prompt me to act. So the God factor shouldn't be left out in this. Don't let fear hold you down in doing what you have to do. Because that next step can be just the leap of faith, the leap of faith you need for the next breakthrough that you need in your life. So keep keep moving, because it's always going to be worth it in the end. So
All
that's
right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach, for that. And I am really much more excited that you brought God into this matter. And of course, this is a Christian podcast, so it's not strange. But now, since you've introduced God, so I want to ask you. All right. So I said that what are some spiritual practices that you do that has helped you professionally, that has helped you to become better person in the business world?
okay. Some spiritual practices, right?
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for that question. So some of the things that has helped me is um daily study of his word, being intentional about it. And how did I achieve this also? I have an accountability partner for this. So to just make sure that we are accountable to each other in our daily reading of the word of God, because it's good you build that relationship. Apart from, all the aspects of your life is meant to be balanced, not just one-sided, not just an
True.
aspect. All round, you are supposed to have this balance, and that's where true prosperity is. There's this peace of mind knowing that you are in a good relationship with your maker, like good in good relationship with God. So when you do that, you receive directions from him. Just that one word from him can it's just that direction you need to make things easy for you. He might direct you to just speak to someone. I mean, just recently, I mean, it's happened to me, and I was directed to just a prompt to just to full details yet, but it turned out in my favor by the time I reached out to this person, and that was exactly what I was seeking for at that moment. So one thing we should do is rely on the Holy Spirit, rely on study of the Word of God, be intentional about our relationship with God. And if you need accountability partner or partners to help you in achieving that, you can have an accountability partner for the studying the Bible. You can have an accountability partner for praying. You can be accountable, okay, about your prayer life. How long have you prayed today? Or did you have a quiet time or something like that? Or what dropped in your spirit or anything like that? Just, if that will help you. Okay, so whatever is going to help you grow, be intentional about it. And I pray that God helps us all.
Amen. Amen. Thank you so much for that. I mean, you've mentioned accountability twice during this conversation, and I'm really, really excited to hear that. And because many a times we forget to do certain things. We are sometimes so much engrossed in many, many other activities that we sometimes forget to do the main things. And you see, it's really important, and especially the point you made mention of about the daily studying of the Word of God, because one of the things that we do or we get when we study the Word of God is we get wisdom. That's why someone said, if you had the opportunity and Jesus walked into your room, what would you do? Somebody said, I'm going to bring out my long prayer list. And I will just begin to talk to Jesus that, Jesus, oh yeah, my business, oh, my this, my this. He said, but somebody had that same experience in the Bible. Solomon, all right, had that same experience, and God came to him and asked him, "What do you want?" And the guy just asked something very simple and straightforward. He asked that God should give him wisdom, all right. And I was tracing it back. I discovered that that was the teaching of his father, when his father taught him that in all thy gettings, get wisdom. He said, get wisdom, get understanding. All right. So when he had the opportunity, he knew specifically what he should ask for. And interestingly, when he asked for wisdom, God gave him wisdom, and God also gave him riches and many, many other things. Right. So I'm really excited about the daily studying of the Word of God. So I also want to ask you, Coach, that what's your personal approach of writing down? I remember when I was in school, after the campus fellowship, after one of my administration, somebody came to me to get my sermon notes, all right, to really find out how do I really write sermon. I remember somebody even asking me, how do you really bring, scriptures together and combine scriptures like that? So, and I have seen some people write down goals. I write, all right, I do journaling, but I see some people write down goals, and I just feel like, what have I been writing all this my life? All right, because the pattern at which they write their goals makes it more readable. And I remember this place in the Bible, Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, was saying, write the vision, make it plain upon tables. All right. So how do you personally? I want you to take us into your personal writing pattern or strategy. So that do you use vision board, journal, or which other method do you use to to get yourself aware about your goals?
All right, thank you for this question. And I hope I'll be able to answer it to the best of my ability. Okay, one thing that I do is just what is it that I really want to see for this year or for this period or for this season? What exactly do I want to, what results do I want to see? So I'm going to write out the end result. Before you start planning, you have to have an end. You have to like see what the result would be like, right? So
Mm-hmm.
because you have to go through the pain of making it achievable and the process or something like that. And so you need to have that in mind so that when you are looking at the why or the goal or something, it will keep you moving forward because you have seen the glory ahead or something like that. Hope you understand what I'm saying.
Mm.
So when you
Yeah,
write
I
it
do.
down, one thing that I now do is, in fact, my actionable goals, like on a daily to meet up to the goal I have, is I don't just write it as a long list or something. Funny enough, it can be a weekly goal. Maybe this week I plan on doing this, doing that. These are things I want to do to get ready this particular week. Then for the next week, I already just write down the next thing I need to do. And it just comes like that. It's not something I really sit down to really crack my head on what's the next thing. I already know what I want to do at the end. So whatever thing I need to do to get to that point just flows. So I just write it as a list. I sometimes it doesn't even take up to how many minutes to write down those actionable goals for this week. What exactly am I going to be doing? It's already there. So I just put it from here to there. Like, so by the time I finish with that, the next one is already there. By the time I'm hitting the goals and doing what and clearing them off my desk, the next actionable one I need to do is already there in my head. So by the time I'm just done for the rest of the week, it can even be during the week, I'll write for the next thing I need to do. So it's just like a weekly thing. So I don't really sit down and write a very long list. I just have some people, different methods might work for different people, but that's basically what I do. Like, I just have that end result and then try to work towards it on a daily and weekly basis. So that's what I do. So you have to set goals that are realistic and not goals that will scare you away. Some people will say, I want to read 30 books this week, and in the end of the week, you are not done anything. I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at anyone. It's just quite funny. So you should have an actionable growth goal. What is it exactly you want to achieve this week? And let it not be a goal. I'm emphasizing on this, a goal that will scare you away. It shouldn't be a goal that will scare you away, but a goal that will even prompt you to do. You know that you can achieve this and you are really working towards it. And again, we shouldn't short-live ourselves. We shouldn't put goals that we know we can actually do more. Sometimes it's even good you set goals that you know you are not scared of, then exceed that goal than to set a very what's it called? A bit buoyant goal, and then you don't even
Bogus.
do anything in the end. So I hope that explains it, and that's it.
That's very true, Coach. That's very, very true because many people are in the talk I had on Friday. I was actually sharing statistics with them, and I said to them, I said, according to statistics, it says that only 9% of persons that set yearly goals achieve it at the end of, at by December. Only 9%. The statistics say that only 43% of persons that set goals pass, January. That is by February, only 43% actually follow through their goal. And one of the reasons that statistics made mention of is, goals that are too big, goals that are not inspiring. You even read, in fact, the person actually wrote down the goal, but the goal is even discouraging the person because the goal is not, the person is just wondering that how really will I, how really will I be able to achieve this particular goal. So thank you so much for, giving us a snippet on how to write down our goals. So, Coach, I want to go into another area, or because we are looking at the growth blueprints, either for our personal life, for our spiritual life, or for our professional, journey. I want to ask you, how do you manage anger and disappointment? Actually, if I'm to judge by your face now, you don't look like somebody that get angry at all. You just look like, peace be unto you. So how do you manage, what techniques, do you have techniques by which, you're a coach, right? Whether in business, yeah, you had a business deal with someone and the person disappointed you, or maybe it's a personal, somebody you are expecting, you did not expect certain character from, and the person just disappointed you. So how do you manage anger and disappointments?
How I manage anger and disappointment. I think that question is very tricky because yeah, there are certain situations for different things. Because when you say anger and disappointment, there are some level of disappointment and there are some level of annoyance or anger and all of that. So the way you react to different cases and different scenario, depending on how strong the situation is, or I think the reactions will be different, you know and as to how I react to disappointment, as you said, is always disappointment, and it's not a very good feeling. There'll be at that moment you feeling, you can feel sad, you can feel down, you can you know just even want to be alone, not want to feel like talking
Talk
to
to
anyone.
anyone.
So I think for every disappointment and everything, and every disappointment, that's where, like, there should be an assessment. What exactly, why did this happen this way, and how can I make it better? It's it's okay to feel bad about some things, but then you shouldn't let it, like, pull you down or make you not look for a way forward or go for option B or something like that. And option B might even be the best plan. Your option A might not be the best. So it's just about trying out different things and knowing what sticks, or what how you go about your own thing, and knowing how it works for you. So that is it. So not allowing disappointment to weigh me down, and trying to find the next move and what can I do next, and grabbing opportunities as it's come. Opportunities, there are some opportunities you can leverage at the phase where you feel disappointment. Don't let your eyes be blinded because of what you are going through at that phase, or in that phase. It can just be God directing your path, because he's using that disappointment to push you forward. So while you are sobbing or doing this or doing that, when that opportunity comes, don't close your eyes to it. Be very open and be very alert in your spirit, so that you don't miss out on those opportunities, and all of that. And even in your disappointment, there can be ideas that might come, and it happens. There are times when, even though that plan A doesn't work, the idea of plan B, and you realize, why didn't even I think about it this way? So you should be very, very proactive in writing them down, even though you don't want to act immediately. Just write it down so it doesn't get lost. So that moment, that is where you know your breakthrough lies, or can lie in. So you should be very proactive. So don't miss out on opportunity, and don't break down, and that you miss out on those type of ideas and all of that. So I believe that it's okay to be sad, and it happens. I get sad, I you know I get that type of down moments at that point. But I don't let it. I look for the next option. What exactly should I do to get this better? I think that's basically the most important thing, getting the lessons out of every challenge or disappointment. If you don't get the lessons, then you haven't done anything. People say experience is the best teacher or something, but there are some people that go through those experiences, and they don't
And
learn
they don't learn
anything.
anything. True.
Yeah, so
True.
the way it's going to be the best teacher for you is when you learn from that experience. So have you learned, and are you applying what you've learned? So that's basically it. Thanks for that question.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for that. That's a very good one. I mean, we are gradually coming to the end of this, um, interview. Should I say interview or discussion? All right.
It's okay.
So that it won't be like putting you on hot seat. Okay, so let me ask that a lot of people experience negative self-talk because I believe whether consciously or unconsciously, our best motivation is ourselves. All right. So I want to ask you, how can one break off from negative self-talk, the talk or thoughts of I can't do it? The person is just not seeing the possibility of trying something new. It's just when you ship in an idea for that person, the person is has seen 100 ways at which that particular idea cannot work out. So how can one break loose of negative self-talk or negative self-thoughts?
Mm. Okay, thank you very much. Thanks for that question. I think one thing that makes people feel much more, let's say, less or about themselves and all of that, even though they don't voice it out, like say that negative word to their self, it's in their head, they just feel it, and their actions speak it and all of that in their body language. So trying to compare yourself with others, like in cases where you see some people doing some things or taking some stride and you just feel like you have not even started and you now start comparing yourself with others. I think I said it in last time, we're doing some test runs here, and I said that, like, do not let anyone define what winning is to you. So
Yeah.
one thing that causes some self-doubt is comparison. It happens a lot, even to children, even children in primary school, in secondary school. It happens to them when they see some things that their mate is doing, or they feel, oh, this person is more outspoken than me, and I am not even close to this person. See how this person is making more friends than me, and you start feeling, oh, nobody likes me. Those type of feeling for children. So
True. Mm,
it's also now it also happens to adults, but in this sense where you just see your mates achieving some things or taking some certain strides, and just feel like, can I even do this? Like, this thing I'm planning, I have not even started anywhere, and you feel down. But don't let that weigh you down. So define the solution to that is defining what winning is to you, what really is winning to you, and that is where you take it up from there. Do not focus. If there are some people you have to unfollow, some people you have to block, not because of they have done anything wrong to you, but just so that you have your sanity to focus on your growth. Because the moment you focus on your growth is when you really begin to grow. If you are trying to do things and you are looking left and right at picking at what your neighbor is doing and feeling sad about it, then you will just, should I say, it's going to be difficult to go from where you are, except you are not doing that. And if you are in the place where people winning is not affecting you in any way, you are happy for them, yeah, you admire what they are doing, but it's not making you feel less about what you can do, then
yeah.
there's no need to follow such people. Take lessons from them, take what they are doing as an inspiration, and keep running your own race. You are on a path to your own personal development. And the thing about focusing on yourself and personal development is that some people that have been there 10 years before you came, or whatever years, 20 years, whatever it may be, there are some certain strides that you can take that will make you have 10 times more results and will bring you to that point where they are and even more. So when you are focused on your own growth, there are certain results you will see at the end of the day. So your delay doesn't mean you are going to be following them back to back all your life. There are just certain things you need to put in place, and you need to start taking action in order to see yourself where you really want to see yourself, or even much more than where you see yourself. Okay, so that's just basically focus on your growth and work towards it, and you're going to grow much more than you've ever imagined or expect. So that's it. Thanks for the question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Coach. I mean, focus on your growth. I mean, and that's why the scripture says, "Godliness with contentment is great gain." All right. So if you
Yeah.
focus on your own, it will be difficult for you to start. And I really like what you said, that if someone else, and especially in these days of social media, right? If someone else success is serving as a distraction to you, just unfollow the person at least for a while. It's not that person's problem. It's a problem that you have. All right, and then just unfollow the person for a while and focus on your growth. So I really think that's that's really one beautiful way to really overcome negative self-talk. And I would also want to add that I think another way that could really help out is through positive affirmations. All right. So
Yes.
I heard one time that one way to one key to control our thoughts is our words. All right. If you are thinking negatively, use your word to control what you are thinking. All right. So I think for negative self-talk or negative self-thoughts, when we begin to use positive affirmations, right? Being so deliberate, right? Maybe you have 20 things you say every day, positive things you say about yourself every day. It will change your view, to change our
That,
perspective about it, right? So let me ask maybe one more question before I go to my three questions I ask every of my guests. I ask every of my guests, irrespective of the topic we are talking on, three questions. But let me ask one last question concerning the growth blueprints for 2024. And once again, Coach Favor, thank you so much for joining us. I am really, really excited to really have you on interview series this evening. Thank you so much. All right, so
love
Coach,
it.
thank you too. So I want to ask you that, can you tell us a skill? I know you are multi-talented. All right. I think the time we met, I don't know when was that. I think maybe it was maybe earlier last year or late last 2 years. Um, you were talking about um, KDP. What's KDP? Um,
Amazon
this
to
book
go.
that is on Amazon. Yes. All right. So that was then. But now you are talking about content. You are talking about businesses. You are giving strategies and the likes, and you are really thriving in that area. So I want to ask you: can you tell us a skill you have mastered that has significantly boosted your career growth? I know there are many skills, but one that you think, and maybe for yourself, and that you also think that, okay, if you are going to say anybody should master anything at 2024, or maybe somebody is currently confused, right? And she's asking, okay, coach, can you just tell me one thing that has radically boosted your career growth or professional growth so far? What would be your advice?
Well, I would tell that person to search within yourself because you you are the person that will know there's this there's this intuition, and I think that God has blessed us with it. There's this thing about us that we just there's a direction you'll be going to, and you know that if you're going here and you're not comfortable, your body will be itchy. Like you just know that this is not where I should be headed to. And there are some particular things you will take on and you'll be like, it just sits well with me, sits well with my person, sits well with what I'm doing, and things like that. You know, your unique perspective about that thing, and it makes you. It just makes you comfortable. So search within yourself whatever it is you want to do. And one way I began my journey is not just to sit down and say I'm searching myself. No, I went for personal development. I paid for classes. I leverage on those systems to just build me. And most times for newbies it's not easy, because you have to sometimes there are people that have to learn a couple of things before they get it right. There are some people that maybe it's easy for them, I don't know, but for me myself, it wasn't so easy. I had to get into some classes, learn a few skills, and tried my hand on different one of them, or a few of them, and then before I find, and this is just the beginning from this I know I'm into content writing and marketing, but like I said, it's always an end, a means to a goal or something. I don't know how to put it, but yes, it's not just the end of it. So it's just a part, and I'm more comfortable with the path I'm taking than when I first started and how I was confused. And I did affiliate marketing. I think I took a design skill, and some other one or two free skills like that before I finally went into graphic affiliate marketing, which taught me some skills. And it's when I got to affiliate marketing and I learned some skills that I believe that okay, content writing. I've always loved writing since when I was in primary school. I remember writing some few stories and some other write-ups. Like I've always been in on this writing thing, so it felt more like my thing than any other one of them. So that's how I got into content marketing and writing. But for anyone, search within yourself to know what really fits, right? And it's always a means to something bigger. It's always a means to something very bigger and even bigger than what you expect. But always keep building on yourself, keep building, and that's how you grow. And that's how you are be able to find yourself. So thank you for that question. I hope that answers it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Coach. Coach, thank you so much. I am super, super excited to
Thanks for
have you on the
having me.
studio tonight. And I believe for many people that are watching us live or will be watching after now, will learn so many things from our discussion tonight or this evening. Thank you so much. All right. Before I go into my last three questions, uh, I will quickly do a short break just to introduce my guest again to the audience. I'll just play the video I created so that you know Coach Favor again. All right, so I'll just play the video right now. So in the next 30 seconds, we'll be back with the question. Thank you, and God bless you.
We're thrilled to have with us today Coach Favour Chidinma, a dynamic content marketer and strategist. Favour is dedicated to helping professionals and business owners carve out their brand identities and enhance visibility. Beyond her role in marketing, she serves as the Chief Operating Officer of the Young and Powerful Leadership Network, YAPLN, a global platform empowering young individuals to cultivate leadership skills, connect with like-minded peers, and expand their international networks. Notably, Favour led the charge as the team lead for the successful Young and Powerful Summit, YAP Summit, a groundbreaking event that drew participants from over 10 countries. This summit laid the foundation for the launch of YAPLN, further solidifying Favour's commitment to fostering leadership development on a global scale. Her exceptional contributions were recognized with the prestigious YAP Summit Award in 2023, a well-deserved acknowledgement of her outstanding leadership during the summit. You can connect with her on LinkedIn at Favour Chidinma. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to Favour Chidinma, a true trailblazer in the realms of content marketing and youth leadership development.
Okay, so Coach, thank you once again. Thank you so much for joining us. Definitely after my questions, I would ask you to, talk to us about what YAP Summit is all about, and so that those that are interested would, be part of it and see how we can join and also learn from you. All right. So, Coach, are you ready for my question? It's like I want to be a millionaire question. Okay. So, my first question is, interestingly, I think I was seeing one of your posts, or maybe it was in your status on Facebook that mentioned something similar to my first question. In fact, I was like, have I actually asked you this question before? And but I think it's a common question. So, Coach, there was a miracle that happened, and you had the opportunity to meet your 7-year-old self. What would you tell her?
Okay. My 7 years old self,
Yeah.
I'll tell her to be more confident and, to believe in her abilities. Because I think one thing that I, I should I say suffered from when some at a point while growing up was low self-esteem. So that's one thing. So one thing I'll tell myself is to believe more in myself. And and yes, that's basically it. And I believe draw more closer to God than ever before. Yeah, so that is one thing. That those are the things that I'll tell my 7 years old self.
That's nice. Thank you so much for that very sincere answer. So the second question is, what book, podcast, or video film would you recommend to anybody right now? Is there any book, podcast, or film that you
Okay.
will recommend to anybody right now? Maybe seeking for growth or whatever.
Okay. Well, I believe one book is I've forgotten the first name, something about Babylon, um
The richest man in Babylon.
the richest man
Is
in
it that?
Babylon. Yes. Yes, richest man in Babylon. It will help you to, be more intentional about your finance and all of that, and build this type of growth mindset. And also and that book that I believe will help people that maybe are suffering from low self-esteem or fear of me of fear of failing or those type of thing, is the gift of imperfection. That book will help you. There's as the name implies, the gift of imperfection. You think imperfection is something that you should be all perfect in everything you are doing, but there is always a gift. There's a gift even in imperfection. You don't have to be perfect in everything to get it right or to move forward in life. You don't need to figure it all out. It's okay not to figure everything out. It's okay to enjoy your process. The more you enjoy your process, the better for you. It's okay to just take action immediately and just keep moving and take up that idea that dropped in you. Is okay to work on it without having to figure it all out and all of that. So it's just okay to, you know there's a gift in imperfection. So that book, The Gift of Imperfection, and The Richest Man in Babylon, concerning finance. Yeah, those two books, I recommend
All
them.
right. All right. Thank you so much for that. And I believe that our audience would lay answer. I've read The Richest Man in Babylon. I mean, that book was so phenomenal in my finances and made me just, you know, be a better financial manager. Right. It's really phenomenal. So the last question, coach, is, if there was anyone in the world you could have conversation with, living or dead,
Hmm.
maybe the person has lived before, all right, and just like I said about there was a miracle that could bring that person, what, who would that person be, and what would you ask them, or that person, him or her? If there was someone you could speak to, I wanted to say, please don't say Jesus. Okay, but if there was somebody you could have conversation with, living or dead, who would that person be, and what would you ask that person or say to that person? Maybe not really a question, but what would you say to that person?
That question is very tricky. You want to just put me on hot seat, by all means. Okay. Anyway, um, I I think I've not really thought so deeply about this type of question, but if you ask me now, well, let me just say like Solomon in the Bible, because Bible I called him as the wisest, you know, wisest man, especially in his time. And for him to achieve so much, if you notice, like it takes a lot of resources to even like take care of a family of how many people, including wives and children. It takes a lot of wisdom to like make everything, how should I put it, in order, keep everything in order despite having such a large family. I can just imagine how it was. Or so I believe he has a lot of wisdom in him concerning that. And so yes, the wealth creation wisdom, that's what I'm going to ask about. So that's what I'm going to ask about. Yeah, so that's like the wealth creation wisdom, the those type of questions that are really deep on, I don't know. Well, I think I've answered that. I don't know how else to put it. But yes, so it's Solomon I'm going to want to speak to or with.
All right. That's nice. I mean, it's interesting. Every time I ask any of my guests this question, I mean, this particular moment is always a very interesting one. And you see, one of the reasons why we ask this question is so that, we can actually learn and see into our guests, right? And better understand what we as a person should also learn from. All right, when we know the person, we know the question, because all these things are very, very important, especially wealth, because I know a lot of, thank God we are Christians, I know a lot of people have issues with wealth. And I often tell people, I said, people will go to hell more because of lack of money than because of more money. All right. So it is important that we know that money itself is not wrong. Money itself is not a sin. It's the person itself that the money enters his or her hand that determines what to do with it, right? So, coach, once again, I want to say thank you so, so much. It has been a very wonderful time, and I really know that definitely before this year runs out, we are really going to call you back to talk to us more about maybe accountability, right? And how to be a good accountability partner. I think I have a post on accountability partner, how to be a good accountability partner, or basically, or maybe majorly on leadership. All right. So once again, I want to say thank you so much, Coach Favor. Thank you so much for being here. I personally am grateful, and I believe the whole Growth Network Life Training Podcast, we are saying a big thank you to you. And definitely, I know you will have one more advice to give everybody listening, right? And with that, I want you to talk briefly about what YAP, am I correct? YAP, YAP. Yes, I'm correct. YAP, LEM, is about, and if it's a community where people can join so that we know how things work. And I also want to talk about your service. I know you're a content marketer, content creator. Yes, content marketer. Yeah, so that talk to us about your service and what you do and where we can reach out to you. So over to you, coach.
Okay, thank you very much. So Yap Lane, that like you call it the Yap, then the LEN lane, is just called the Young and Powerful Leadership Network, where young people are given the opportunity or avenue to like learn and grow. So there will be a series of programs and you know it's series of programs and opportunities to come up to inculcate these leadership abilities to young people, to the youths and in their field. And it's not just about leadership, it's about mindsets, you know um, the ability to see beyond where you are now, and the ability to network with people, because it's an opportunity, it's going to be a network like it says, so an opportunity to actually connect with like minds, with great, with people that have the same, that are headed, have the same similar values and all of that. So that is what Yapling is about. And it's a global network. It's not just limited to Africa, it's limited to different aspects, continents of the world. This is just basically for youth to inspire them to grow and build themselves, you know, and giving them the opportunity to listen to top thought leaders in the fields they belong to teach them on what to do to improve and all of that. So we are still working on different aspects of this network. It's still growing. So by the time everything is ready, it's going to be, I believe, it's going to be mind blowing, because by the time we begin to grow and expand, it's going to be much more. Other things will be fixed into it, and it's going to be much more than we have ever imagined. So the Yapling network was coined out from the Yap Summit that we had last year, and we decided to make it much more than just the summit, but a network. So the official launch of membership will be open. Right now, we have a team of people working towards this, and the official launch will be opened up, will be out soon, like will be announced very, very soon. So you feel free to keep an eye on my page on LinkedIn, and or if you're connected to me on WhatsApp, keep an eye on my status, because when it's time for the membership launch, it's going to be announced. And where exactly we're going to do the launch is also going to be announced also. So that's it. And so for my content marketing, I'm a content marketer and I'm a content strategist, and I help sole entrepreneurs and business owners to improve and build their brand, to make their brand head, and to just use content marketing, use strategies in content marketing to win the hearts of their target audience. So imagine being able to like win the hearts of your target audience, being able to connect to them on a deeper level with your content. That will help to improve on visibility, because if people can connect with your brand will be more visible, because it's just like a word to word mouth, should I say, advertisement. Your customers or your target audience will be the ones to tell other people about you because of what you are doing. So that's basically what I help sole entrepreneurs and business owners to achieve, to be able to connect with their audience on a more deeper level, to achieve more visibility, and to be able to achieve more conversion rates through that tactics. So thank you so much for having me, um, Mr. John. Thank you for having me. So for those watching, you can feel free to connect with me. Like I said, I'm on Facebook. I'm active on Facebook and LinkedIn. I'm done.
All right, all right. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Life Clinic podcast interview series. Today we had a very wonderful session with Coach Favour Chidinma. Thank you so much. We are so excited to have Coach around. Thank you so much, ma. I really believe we have learned so much from her. And interestingly, we would definitely bring her again. And let me quickly make this announcement that this podcast series is going to be available on Spotify, just like many of our other productions. So we are going to make this available on Spotify because I believe we have more audience and more engagement on Spotify. It's going to be available on Google Podcast. It's going to be available on Amazon Music or anywhere you listen to your podcast. All right, any preferable place you have. So we are going to put the audio rendition there. And the next time we are going to be meeting is also going to be next month, right? We're also going to be inviting another guest. And we are going to be talking about health, well-being, our health and well-being next month. All right. So I really believe you've learned one or two things. Please do well to drop your comments. I'm going to also add the link of Coach Favor to Coach Favor Chidinma to the comments box and also on my page for some of us that follow me on my page, so that you can also follow her. I personally follow her. I learn a lot from her, from her LinkedIn post, from her Facebook post, even our WhatsApp status. I mean, there is so much you can glean from Coach Favor, and I believe you can testify to it that there is so much we can learn from Coach. Once again, I want to appreciate every one of us. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, this evening. All right. Until next time, my name is Olabisi John Ige, and thank you for joining me on Life Clinic Podcast. See you another time, and God bless you.